far corner, and back his skates on. Trying to come rink line to Pietrangelo. He does. Pietrangelo to shoot it. Oshie scores!
It is a sport that can be gruesome and punishing.
I think I'm in pain, every game, every practice.
The game is riddled with battle-tested souls like St. Louis Blues star defenseman Barrett Jackman, who braves the conditions and weathers numerous injuries in arduous pursuit of the NHL's Stanley Cup.
Our hockey players are tough by nature. They're competitive individuals. They want to get out and compete. So we do have to balance between having a player be able to go out and perform at his best and also protecting him from his injuries.
Each year, expectations are high for this talented bunch, and some of the most important team members don't wear skates at all.
When you are taking care of an elite athlete, your margin for error is smaller.
Over the next 30 minutes, you'll get a VIP seat inside the often bruising world of St. Louis Blues hockey and meet the team of physicians who are national leaders in sports medicine.
One more, hands up.
And whose job it is to keep these warriors of the ice healthy and in championship form.
The doctors are there to make sure you're not stressing anything too badly and you're not going to hurt yourself long term.
There's actually knowing what the process is, how to deal with the injury from a mental standpoint, how to get through it on the surgical standpoint, and how to deal with it on the rehabilitation.
This is Beyond the Ice, an inside look at what it takes to keep the Blues playing at their best.
14 pre-op diagnosis. Surgeon Rick Wright, first assistant clear man.
It's a typical day for Dr. Rick Wright.
Did not have any.
During the day, we have a regular practice. And so I'll take care of surgeries and seeing patients in the office all day long.
The team comes home now to open up a 3-game homestand. The Phoenix Coyotes come into town.
Then head out once we're done to the Scott trade.
These two teams, the Blues and the Coyotes, faced off in early November.
I think it's best understood if you consider it like my wife does. She calls it the hobby.
3-game show on the St. Louis Blues Radio Network. Blues and the Coyotes.
I usually try and arrive at the arena around 6 o'clock so that I have half an hour before the players go on the ice. And the ultimate challenge is to keep a professional team healthy and able to compete.
In a sport like hockey, injuries are part of the game. The team's medical staff play a critical role. Diagnose, treat, and manage the injuries so players can stay on the ice.
The game is so fast that you never know when, a knee, an ankle, a shoulder, or something's going to get twisted.
In order for me to be a successful athletic trainer, I've got to have great physicians, and I have outstanding physicians at Barnes Jewish.
Blues trainer Ray Barile and these Washington University physicians from Barnes Jewish Hospital shoulder a big responsibility. Balance the players' desire to compete while protecting their long-term health.
With the brutality of the sport and the bumps that you get every day, you're gonna have different things that are gonna be sore, but really the doctors are there to make sure you're not stressing anything too badly.
I don't know any athlete who's not motivated to get back. That's one of the fascinating aspects of sports medicine, the reason why I like doing it. Sometimes you have to hold the patients back.
We never really have any issues with guys. When Dr. Wright, Dr. Matava, Dr. Smith provide a rehab protocol, our players follow it to a T.
My second year, I had a labral tear in my shoulder, and it was pretty devastating. I was unsure what the future of my career was going to be, but the access to some of the best doctors in St. Louis was very calming for me and the start of a road to recovery.
Spending game night with the team is just a fraction of their duties. These doctors spend their days caring for patients.
We are on the cutting edge. We are doing the research that is hopefully setting the standard of care for the rest of the country and perhaps the world.
I think that the resources that we bring to the professional athletes has allowed us to learn a little bit more about the injuries, and then we use that to affect the care of our other patients.
For the Blues, staying healthy gets them closer to their ultimate goal, winning a Stanley Cup for St. Louis.
We couldn't manage it our injuries without our team physicians from Barnes-Jewish. They're critical to my job and make my life a lot easier. Without them, we wouldn't be able to function. The toughest part in dealing with the injured players is really the psychological part.
The challenges of coaching a player through an injury.
Not being part of the team, not being on the ice and playing, that's usually the most difficult part.
Bruce Raby with you on the St. Louis Blues Radio Network, live here at Scott Trade Center, high above the ice. The three-game homestand faces off tonight at the Scott Trade Center. The Blues had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday without games.
On this February night of the 2014 hockey season,
Time now to hear from the head coach of your St. Louis Blues.
the St. Louis Blues are about to square off with one of the NHL's best teams, the Phoenix Coyotes. For head trainer Ray Barile, getting the players game ready is just one of a myriad of his team responsibilities.
My responsibility is the day-to-day medical care and treatment of the players, coaches, management, their families. That's 24/7, 365. So it runs all the way through the off-season.
For the entire medical team, Barile is their eyes and ears on how the players are doing. His close personal relationship with the physicians gives them insight that is invaluable.
Dr. Wright and I probably talk at least 5 to 17 times a day. My wife, kids, I talk to Dr. Wright more on the phone than I talk to her, which is probably true. We communicate constantly.
Typically, a lot of times we talk after a game, even when they're on the road, to discuss the injuries and then to coordinate any of the care, whether that's additional testing like x-rays or MRI or CT scan, or seeing a subspecialist in our field.
While Barile gets the benefit of an up-close and personal view on the bench, the team physicians are always close by.
We're required by the league to be either in the training room or within 50 feet of the bench. We're there at the game till the end of the game, and then we see any of the players after the game that may have had any questions or injuries during the game, and then we always meet after the game with the coaches and management to review any injuries and the health status of the players.
And then he said, and then he would go, oh, and that can say, let's do it.
It's very reassuring. The doctors are in the dressing room before the game. If you need any reassurance that you're, if you don't feel 100% going into a game, the doctors will check you out before the game and give you the okay. And then, they're in the dressing room between periods, or even if you get injured in the game, it's a quick wave from our trainer Ray Barile, and the doctors are down in the dressing room, and you get checked out, and if you're able to go back out and the doctors say it's okay, you're right back out there, and there's no wait time at all.
If anyone knows the importance of these physicians in the locker room, it's Blues seasoned veteran Barrett Jackman. In just his second year in the league, Jackman faced a career-threatening shoulder injury.
Plenty of time near circle, drives it. It's blocked off Barrett Jackman.
I missed, probably about 85% of the season that year, and it was my first major injury, and to have that, and have the doctors around, to have the close care of the physicians, and to be able to check in with them, weekly or game by game was really good for me.
I think that the players understand the experience that we bring to the situation, and the fact that while they may have been in the NHL 5 years, we've been doing it for 17 years. And that frequently is one way we can educate and explain to them.
Did you get it bruised in there? You're a little swollen. See how it's a little...
The toughest part in dealing with the injured players is really the psychological part. They are true competitors, and they want to get back out and play as quickly as possible. Because Dr. Wright and I have worked for 18+ years together, we kind of know what each other are thinking in those lines, and there are discussions with particular players that we either have a fear that they might try to do a little bit more and we have to pull the reins in, but usually everybody is right on target.
Really, at the end of the day, it's to be able to have a player or an athlete or a patient return to whatever activity they desire as quickly and as safely as possible.
When Beyond the Ice continues,
He had a lot of swelling in his thigh muscle, and that built up so much pressure, it actually caused the thigh muscle to die.
What these team doctors learn from the pros also benefits younger athletes dreaming of the NHL. See how they helped a Lindenwood hockey player come back from a career-threatening injury to have one of his biggest games on the ice.
I've seen him endure a lot, but he could hardly endure this test, and this pressure test said that the pressure in his leg was 6 times greater than what it should be.
When you work for an organization that is intent on being a national leader in sports medicine, this means that no detail is too small to be left unattended.
When you are taking care of an elite athlete, your margin for error is smaller. Their ability to be one of a few hundred people that are able to do this on the entire planet may be small enough that if you don't handle their injuries correctly, they may not be able to maintain their position.
For Dr. Matthew Matava, working with these high-profile athletes on a daily basis brings back memories of his own athletic past.
I tore my own ACL in 1983 when I played college basketball, and so nowadays when players or patients complain that their scar is going to be 2 inches long, I pull up my pants leg and here show them my 14-inch long scar, and that kind of quiets them down.
Being a team physician for the Blues since 1997 is an important responsibility. But what many people don't see is the care they give to athletes of all ages and abilities every day.
What we have learned from taking care of the elite athletes that can trickle down to the younger or amateur athletes is when we can safely bring people back a little more quickly. And some of that is because of some of the advanced imaging. We have a little better understanding of the injuries.
That better understanding became a reality for Lindenwood University hockey star Alex Roth. Playing hockey is all he has ever wanted to do.
When he was 2, we got him a little pair of Fisher-Price skates, puck, and stick, and he would just be out in the court playing his own little game, dreaming about being a hockey player one day.
But during a game at Arizona State University, Alex's career nearly came to a screeching halt.
The game hadn't gone very long, just in the first period, and he was trying to get around this one guy.
I went wide to the left to the boards, almost had him beat, and he stuck out his knee and hit my trail leg as I was going by him.
The severe muscle injury kept Alex out of action for the next several days, until he arrived back in St. Louis and couldn't bend his knee. His dad owns a rehabilitation facility, so Alex called on his expertise.
We got him in a bath with some ice water, and hopefully we can kind of calm it down enough where it would start feeling better to him. And we could tell within a few minutes that it wasn't doing the trick. It was pretty much gone. So we needed to get him to the emergency room real fast.
The Roths ended up at a local emergency room where Alex underwent emergency surgery and was told he would need a skin graft to heal his leg. Knowing this could end his hockey dreams, he sought out a second opinion. His dad, Dennis, knew exactly where he wanted to go. He contacted the region's top sports medicine physicians at Washington University and Barnes Jewish Orthopedic Center.
Alex sustained what is called an acute compartment syndrome, and what that means is that with his injury he had from playing hockey, he had a lot of swelling in his thigh muscle, and that built up so much pressure, it actually caused the thigh muscle to die.
For Dr. Matava, this was an injury he had seen before when dealing with severe traumas like motorcycle accidents, but not with an athlete. He decided Alex's best chance was with an alternative treatment to close the wound.
When we got in there and he explained some of the new technology that he had recently worked with and that he wanted to try out on me, that was a very comforting feeling, and I was excited to go ahead with that.
A device called a wound vac was attached to Alex's leg. It pulls excess fluid from the injured leg and allows doctors to repair the damaged muscle.
Obviously, he was very nervous about being able to play again. That's his first and foremost concern. I was worried about the muscle surviving. But, we all had the same goals for Alex. But first and foremost was to get the muscle to heal so that the leg could function.
I felt like, you know what, you have the guy that's treating the best of the athletes, but he treated Alex just like he would treat one of his best athletes. It's very comforting to know that you've got a doctor that he's obviously dealt with this kind of serious injury before, and he knows how to help get our son back into good condition.
After the stitches had been removed, Alex started physical therapy to gain back all the strength and flexibility he had lost. He set a goal to be back on the ice. 7 weeks later, Alex helped lead his team to victory in the ACHA Division I National Championship.
He did give my son as much time as I think he would have gave any professional athlete. And for that, I really appreciate that.
The first game back, I actually scored. And so that was a big weight off the shoulders. I feel very blessed to have the connections that we did, that were able to lead us to him. And I really feel that, like, if we hadn't gone to him, that a dream that had been mine as a kid would have never become a reality.
Still to come on Beyond the Ice.
There's other days where you play in a lot of pain, and it's you battle through it. You balance it with ice and tape, and really just the love of the game.
With injuries like ACL tears on the rise in professional sports, learn how Washington University orthopedic physicians are spearheading the effort to decrease time away from the game.
You could go back to sports now within 6 months after an ACL surgery. There's no cast, there's no brace, there's no hospitalization. It takes an hour to do.
With each and every game in the NHL, the potential for battered and bruised players is high. Ray Barile and the Blues team physicians are no strangers to coaching these soldiers of the rink through injury.
When Dr. Wright, Dr. Matava, Dr. Smith provide a rehab protocol, our players follow it to a T. So usually they're trying to push the envelope a little bit, so we have to pull the reins in a little bit and convince them that it's more important that they rest and that they do their rehab properly, that they're going to have a better outcome and a better return to play.
I've had many of the same injuries my patients have. I can sort of relate to what they're going through, and they can understand that I understand what they're going through, what it means to be hurt in the middle of the season, not be able to play in the championship game, perhaps their career is ending, and then what to do after the treatment is involved.
These physicians are also moving science forward with ongoing involvement in multi-center research on a national level. As part of one of the premier research institutions in the country, they spend much of their time conducting research to help decrease injury time for athletes worldwide. Being involved in this allows physicians at Barnes Jewish Hospital to improve patient care and prevent re-injury in athletes.
The team and the players understand that not only are they getting excellent patient care, but they're getting it from people that are doing the research and educating the future surgeons of tomorrow, and that's part of our mission.
Many athletes suffer ACL injuries.
Go ahead and bend your elbow for me.
But for Dr. Matthew Smith, the research is paying off in regards to one of athletics' most frequent injuries.
For example, for ACL reconstruction, what we've learned is that failed ACL reconstructions, when you have to do them again, don't do as well as the first time. We've also learned that the type of tissue that you use to reconstruct the ACL actually matters, so it should be your own tissue in a young active person compared to a cadaver graft, and that wasn't really well spelled out before.
You could go back to sports now within 6 months after an ACL surgery. There's no cast, there's no brace, there's no hospitalization. It takes an hour to do. Whereas I was in the hospital for 5 days with a cast for 3 months. It took me 2 years to get back to play.
What we have learned from taking care of the elite athletes that can trickle down to the younger or amateur athletes is when we can safely bring people back a little more quickly, And some of that is because of some of the advanced imaging. We have a little better understanding of the injuries.
Good win by the Blues. Oshie skates it up the right wing. Gets the red line and then goes to run in.
In a sport where injury is inevitable, perhaps it almost seems counterintuitive that such setbacks are ultimately the building blocks for the journey ahead.
Particularly with the NHL and the NFL as well, they have large databases of patient or athlete injuries that we can answer some of these interesting questions. So hopefully when we see a patient in the community who has a similar injury, we can use the experience from the professional teams to help treat the regular patients.
And for the great athletes and minds leading the way, injuries, much like losing, are one of the most powerful vehicles to achieve future success.
It's a great relationship, and I think it's based on mutual respect. People appreciate what the Blues are trying to do in the community and the fact that they're trying to compete and win a Stanley Cup. And the Blues appreciate that Barnes Jewish Hospital and Washington University and our department are trying to be the best in the country.
They make my job easier, and they make the St. Louis Blues Hockey Club a lot better.